Minute Rule Bill. Neale Hanvey.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I beg to move that leave be given to bring in a bill to require the Secretary of State to report to Parliament on providing additional allowance to people in receipt of the state pension and other social security benefits in places with colder climates to reflect the increased cost of domestic heating and for connected purposes. The bill seeks on a cross-party basis to introduce a cold climate allowance across the United Kingdom. I am grateful to colleagues from 8 parties and an independent member who have lent it their support today. As well as having cross-party support, I am pleased that it has attracted support from MPs in each of the constituent nations of the UK. Indeed, as someone who was born in the north of Ireland, I am pleased that every party in this chamber from Northern Ireland has supported the bill, which is no small achievement. The bill is essentially the same as previous bills which were introduced in the 1980s by former SNP leader Gordon Wilson MP and in the 1990s by former SNP Parliamentary Group leader Margaret Ewing MP. I consider it a great honour to follow in their footsteps. The bill is a UK-wide in its scope and seeks to tackle income as one of the recognised causes of fuel poverty, by paying a cold climate allowance, an additional monetary payment during the winter months, which would be paid directly to eligible people in receipt of the state pension and other social security benefits. The amount of the proposed cold climate allowance is based on paying 10%, 20% or 30%, depending on location, of the annual equivalent service charge for fuel and associated costs, which are calculated in respect of housing benefit. It would be an automatic and continuing payment over 17 weeks from December to March. The bill divides the United Kingdom into 4 climatic zones. Zone 4 covers the Highlands and Northern Scotland and would see an automatic weekly payment of £45.05. Zone 3 covers Central and Southern Scotland, Northern Ireland and Northern England and would provide a weekly payment of £27.56. Zone 2 covers Central England and Wales and would entail a weekly payment of £13.78, with Zone 1 covering the remainder of the United Kingdom, although it would not produce an automatic payment, but existing cold weather payments would continue to apply in Zone 1 and indeed they would, as they would across the UK during cold weather snaps. The bill has been welcomed by those organisations in the UK committed to ending fuel poverty, namely Energy Action Scotland and its sister body National Energy Action, which operates in England, Wales and Northern Ireland. So why introduce a cold climate allowance now? Well, people right across the UK face a perfect storm this winter, with rising energy bills combined with an increase in energy price cap and falling incomes for families, particularly in the wake of the removal of the universal credit uplift. This bill would go some way towards shielding our most vulnerable from that perfect storm. In addition, there is a crisis in the energy market as large energy suppliers go out of business. With the rise in wholesale gas prices, 28 suppliers have gone out of business in the UK, including Bulb Energy, Britain's 7th largest supplier with 1.7 million customers. As a result of high energy prices, poor levels of energy efficiency in homes and falling incomes, Energy Action Scotland predict that this winter many lives will be lost and unnecessary pressure placed on the NHS. Already 2,000 more lives in Scotland are lost across the winter months than in the summer through people living in cold, damp and difficult to heat homes. All members will be aware of rising household energy prices. The surge in the market price of gas is unprecedented, and it has more than quadrupled in the last year. National Energy Action estimate that the expected increase to gas bills in April could mean the cost of heating the average home will have doubled over the last 18 months. Energy prices are already high and are set to rise substantially in April 2022, with high prices expected for some time to come. New research published only last week by the Global Change Foundation predicts that household energy bills are set to rise by up to £900 per annum in the coming year. Customers on standard tariffs will see a rise of between £450 to £650, and those switching from cheaper fixed-price deals as they expire will go on to the price cap, which could see a rise of between £700 and £900. According to National Energy Action, the cost of living is at its highest level in a decade, with household energy bills being the principal driver. They estimate that average domestic energy bills have soared by over £230 per customer compared to last winter. This leaves 4.5 million households across the UK struggling to heat and power their homes. Many are sinking further into debt. Others are forced to ration their energy use or turn off the heating altogether, leaving them at acute risk of serious ill health or even premature death. Unfortunately, many energy experts predict bills will soar again this coming April, and possibly by as much as £550 for the average dual-fuel bill. But these calculations are based on average energy use. Larger families and people who live in poorly insulated homes are likely to pay even more. Last week, E.ON Energy Chief Executive Michael Lewis told ITV many people are in for a shock, and that rising energy bills will certainly cause hardship for his customers. This bill would go some way to address that hardship for some of our most vulnerable constituents this winter. According to a new study published earlier this month by Citizens Advice Scotland, 36%, that's 1 in 3 people in Scotland, are now struggling to pay their energy bills. Of these, 80% cited rising energy bills as a reason. So why pay a different amount of cold climate allowance to different parts of the UK? Well, the stark reality is that it is colder in different parts of the UK, and weather conditions are predictably more severe in some areas than they are in others. The different rates of cold climate allowance which this bill proposes reflect the climatic variations in different parts of the UK. It is thanks to the campaigning efforts of Margaret Ewing and others in decades past that the UK government finally conceded the difference in heating across the UK. According to the Building Research Establishment domestic model, the percentage of extra fuel required to heat a typical semi-detached house with gas central heating, taking Bristol as a baseline, is 23% more in Glasgow, 28% more in Edinburgh, 32% more in Dundee, 41% more in Aberdeen, 53% more in Braemar, and a staggering 66% more in Lerwick. We know that there are extreme pressures in remote, rural and island communities. Households, particularly in off-gas areas, face some of the highest energy costs anywhere in the UK. Households in Orkney, Shetland and the Western Isles of Scotland endure the highest rates of fuel poverty, and this bill would provide those households with welcome additional support. It is beyond doubt that these significant climatic variations exist across the UK. This bill allows us to balance this and do something meaningful about it. So why use incomes to tackle fuel poverty and not home insulation and other energy efficiency measures? Well, it's not a case of either or. It is possible to have the most energy efficient home in the world, but if you have insufficient income, you may be too afraid to turn on your heating system or use it to not use it to the level required to provide adequate warmth. Indeed, the home energy efficiency standard in the social rented sector in Scotland is an exemplar in these islands, but many of the people occupying those homes are on low income or are in receipt of retirement pension or other social security benefits. Therefore, further help for households struggling to afford the rising cost of energy is necessary in Scotland and across the UK. This bill seeks to provide that support. Fraser Scott, Chief Executive of Energy Action Scotland, put it well when he said, "Far too many people are facing a cold, cold winter, unable to afford to heat their homes to the level that supports their health and well-being." Age Scotland and Age UK have both highlighted the financial challenges older people face this winter. These people are our constituents and we have a duty to act. Energy Action Scotland and National Energy Action believe that more must be done to amplify support when extreme weather impacts on already financially stressed households. People should never feel compelled to self-disconnect or otherwise ration their energy supply. National Energy Action have said that they hope the bill is successful, or at the very least it prompts the UK Government to come forward with their own proposal to help more vulnerable households afford a warm home. As we move into winter recess, honourable members may view winter scenes on Christmas cards with warm fondness. However, it is likely that too many of our constituents will be filled with fear and dread should such wintry conditions descend upon their reality. My bill will provide practical help in the winter months when it is needed most. It will help to keep people warm, it will reduce pressure on the NHS, and it will ultimately save lives. I commend it to the House.
The question is that the honourable member have leave to bring in the bill. As many as that opinion say aye. Of the contrary, no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it. Who will prepare and bring in the bill?
Kenny McCaskill, Angus Brendan McNeil, Graham Morris, Alistair Carmichael, Liz Saville Roberts, Jim Shannon, Claire Hanna, Stephen Farry, Margaret Ferrier, and Alison Thulis and myself.
Neale Hanvey.